Yorkshire Fire Control.
Yeah, some children have set a load of rubbish on fire on Tong Street.
Whereabouts on Tong Street?
Do you know the piece of spare land opposite CD Bramall's?
Yeah.
It's on the field opposite there. It's right next to a building.
What's on fire?
It's general rubbish, you know, trees and...
Okay. Okay, we'll get them out. Thank you.
Right,
bye.
Tong Street, Dudley Hill. Rubbish fire just outside Bramall's. Sent monoplanes this time. That's the situation when we get there. Will we require any more assistance or not?
For Green Watch at Odsall Fire Station in Bradford, it's that time of year again. November the 5th is days away. Crews must attend every call-out as part of the maintenance of what's called fire cover, society's insurance policy for emergencies.
About 4 and 5 times a night, people setting fire to bonfires, too near property, a lot of kids hanging about, highly dangerous, you know, they're not controlled situation. Yet young kids like this kid here, 8, 9-year-old, parents are in the house, they don't know what they're doing, you know. It's obviously a dangerous situation. And building up to bonfire night, we can have up to, what, 12, 15. Building up to November the 5th itself, where it could be 50.
The concern is that financial constraints on some fire brigade budgets has now threatened to undermine the fundamental principle that these fire crews and their colleagues will always get there on time.
Right, check. Off go and watch dismiss. Green Watch, answer your names. Fireman Winers, driver, water tender.
Yep.
Fireman Galtras, driver, water ladder.
Yep.
The West Yorkshire Fire Brigade has about 1,800 full-time firefighters. 2 women firefighters render the general phrase fireman obsolete. For 2 years, there have been no new recruits. Fire engines have been taken out of service, and a fire station is soon to close.
Check your inventories and check all your personal equipment. Green Watch, fall out.
Those running the fire authority in the county say these are the most difficult days in its history. They blame government restrictions on spending, arguing that the brigade can't keep up its standards with less equipment and fewer staff.
When you lot back there, watch the back lights on.
Opponents of that view believe that the Labour-controlled authority is in fact crying wolf, pleading for extra cash which it doesn't need. While Green Watch start their shift, at Brigade HQ, the Chief Fire Officer meets his senior staff and Financial Director to prepare a case to put to the Home Office.
Well, welcome to this special meeting of the Brigade Management Team. As you know, we're about to put a submission into the Home Office pointing out the budget situation for 1993-4 and the effect this is likely to have on the service. I obviously want to get corporate approval from this body before this submission goes in and just take any comments we have.
I've built up the 93-94 budget based on last year's expenditure limit of 52.2 million. Now, the 55 million represents an increase of over 6% on our expenditure limit for last year. Now, it's unlikely the government are going to allow an increase of that size.
Meaning that with a tighter than usual government spending round, the brigade will be under even greater pressure from next April.
We'll get that off to Home Office this week, so at least they're formally aware.
After the war, the Fire Services Act established legal requirements to ensure that wherever they were in the country, fire brigades responded to calls in set times to protect life and property, however difficult the task in hand. The West Yorkshire Fire Authority says that a funding formula based on the county's size and population is basically unfair, leaving it short of cash. They argue that the county is wrongly classed as semi-rural, whereas in fact it has more than its share of serious incidents across a sprawling urban industrial area.
Fire brigade.
Quick, it's on fire. The house, Bayswater Row, 29.
29 at Bayswater Row?
Yeah.
R-O-W?
Yeah.
And you say it's the house?
Yeah, it's on fire. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get them out to it.
With nearly 8,000 serious fires last year, it's argued that Leeds and Bradford and the county's other principal towns cannot be classed as less threatened than parts of Manchester and Birmingham, which fare better under the same funding formula. So whilst Odsal in Bradford covers an area which is one of the busiest in the country, the Fire Authority claims that the crews here and elsewhere in West Yorkshire are not being given the level of funding they need. As the workload increases, the response to emergencies must always match it.
Evans Towers, Brian. Yeah, Park Road. Going down to a multi-storey block of flats down Manchester Road. Supporting appliance. This is along with Bradford.
Calls to buildings like this high-rise block of flats automatically require a high number of firefighters, just in case it's a serious incident. Here there are 12 men and 3 vehicles for 2 pieces of burnt toast.
We have sort of routine calls, false alarms. It varies. It's the unexpected, that's the thing. You know, one day we'll pick up something big. Later on tonight there'll be car fires. That's the usual case.
These kinds of incidents were unheard of 10 years ago.
Bit of a squeeze.
Right.
We'll get the tape on it on.
We get quite a lot of these on a Friday and a Saturday night especially. Unfortunately, it's bad enough having your car stolen, but to fire it like this, you know, it's just a waste, really. It's silly.
As a follow-up to the lesson we did this morning on special service calls, I'm now going to show you a slight sequence showing some of the typical examples of the incidents that we could attend as firefighters.
At the training centre, a group of recruits learn the basics. For 2 years, there have been no new West Yorkshire firefighters taught here. Other brigades send some of their trainees. The internationally rated centre with its new facilities is quieter than normal, according to Chris Fisher, head of training.
At the moment, as you can see, we're on the parade ground and the drill ground, where normally there'd be a massive activity here with recruits carrying out their basic training and groups at various stages in the training throughout the recruits course. I trained here myself a few years ago. I've seen lots of recruits come through, and it's just a shame to see it at the moment underutilised.
While the Home Office says that the brigade is 150 firefighters below strength, the Department of the Environment's spending restrictions mean no new staff can be recruited.
Yes, there are the fire brigade, so I think it must be 7 Southgate, next door to the Smithy pub. What's on fire? There's an industrial workwear shop next door to my pub, and you can see the fire through the windows. It's a shop that's on fire. Yeah.
Fire investigation is now taking up more of the brigade's time and money. With increasing cases of arson, a team of officers work full-time on establishing the cause of fires involving both businesses and homes. They help insurance companies deal with increasing claims.
as soon as we came here, flames were coming out of the window, so we were straight in with hose reel through the window. Got in through the door, it went straight across the ceilings, we kicked the door open. Cut it down in here, and I got 4 BAs in to check that. I thought it might have been going upstairs as well, it was going too well. Anyway, we found out it's stuck to in here.
So this is the room of origin.
Yeah.
When you look in the back of the box which houses the socket, it's quite clean in there. And it's fairly safe to assume that any fire starting in the socket would have damaged the internals of it before breaking out and doing the type of damage you see here. And now we've got to look further afield, and obviously with the insecurity of the place, we're looking at deliberate ignition. So really now we're stuck still till we can speak to the occupiers.
Another case for investigation, a potentially lethal house fire.
Let us know what's going on, will you? This is a woman, we're not certain where she is.
Well, how many people are in? Just give us a quick rundown. Just
At the moment, we've got... There's nobody upstairs. Good. At the moment, I've got 4 BA wearers upstairs because I'm led to believe from neighbours that there's a lady lives here and I don't know where she is. What about the cause? As yet, I don't know. No idea.
The house itself was in this state. We haven't moved anything at all.
Right.
And the settee was actually burning when we came through the door.
Okay. The fire then was just confined to the settee?
At the time we came through the door, yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. What we're trying to do, really, is establish if a crime's been committed. That's our sole purpose. If we can establish that, then we hand the matter to the police. The only way that I can be of assistance to the police, or should I say the main way I can be of assistance to the police, is to try and establish a time scale of the fire starting. This, of course, then assists them when they're looking for suspects.
While Bradford's crews are kept constantly busy, in another part of the brigade area, they're facing up to the toughest consequence of the need to trim £1 million from the budget, the closure of this fire station at Sowerby Bridge. The chief fire officer says the decision will not threaten life and property in the town. The work of its one fire tender will instead be covered by Halifax. The nameplate of Sowerby Bridge's ancient fire engine is a reminder of an unbroken tradition here. It's even rumoured that this may be one of the oldest fire stations in the world. Its closure is viewed with suspicion by the local community. The men who work at Sowerby Bridge say efforts to close them down in the past have failed, but this time the need to save money has triumphed.
It's a sad loss for the community of Sowerby Bridge, and they deserve better.
Well, the local community provided the station in the first place, and now it's being taken away from them.
Yeah, and that's not fair.
So not long ago it warranted 2 appliances here, and now there's only 1. Yeah. And now, again, there's none at all.
Yeah.
It's bad. Just bad news.
Yeah.
As he tours the front line, the fire chief, Jim Manuel, is aware that more and more he's having to make unpopular decisions.
But it concerns me that morale is being affected by the cutbacks. It's been affected in 2 ways, really. First of all, the firefighters themselves know what sort of service they want to give the public. They want to be able to provide that service, and they're worried that they won't be in a position to do that unless we get the requisite amount of money. We expect a firefighter to run into a burning building wearing breathing apparatus and rescue someone, and I think when he's got half of his mind on what's the position for his own family if he loses his job, I think that's bound to affect efficiency.
Good afternoon, sir. Great much from duty, station's the captain in charge, both pumps present on station and the men are cleaning the equipment at the moment, sir.
At Odsall, he makes the point that these are difficult times for his men.